Class, that is some computer-related crimes that I discussed, like in previous slides. USA Patriot Act that define the cyber terrorism and associate the penalty. Me to say, like I discussed, the $5,000 penalty if the person is basically doing this kind of act. Okay, and second law is this one. I just going to be tick. U.S. Patriot Act identify the theft and assumption differences act that make the identify theft the federal crime with a penalty up to 50 years. Okay, imprisonment and the maximum fine is a $250. And the fraud related the activity to connection with a sex device status that is basically related to your credit card. Nowadays, many hackers are basically use your debit and credit card. So if they are doing and it will be a claim, the claim regarding unauthorized use of a credit card, it also be a basically a prostitute against this kind of person. Computer fraud and Abuse Act, U.S. Code, Title 18, Section 1030. That is basically a fraud related to activity associated with the computer, like you are accessing computer without authorization or exceeding authorization access. Okay, you have no authority to use this system, but you are a unauthorized person, then but you are access. Okay, and transmitting a program, code, command that cause harm to the computer. If you are doing this kind of act, it is also illegal. And trafficking the computer password, okay, and trying to cause the damage to a protect computer. This kind of basically fraud, this kind of activity that associate the computer if you are stole the data, if you are the trafficking the computer password, and you hack the system, and that all are basically considered as a computer fraud. And according to this act, you need to be face a penalty and maybe the part of a prison. Okay, and the last is a store wire in electronics communications and transactional record access status. That is also U.S. Code Title 18 and Chapter 121. That is an unlawful access to store communication to obtain, alter, and prevent authorized access to the wire or the electronic communication while it is a electronic storage. Now you have no right to be a store any person data, and that any communication that is without any, if you have no authority. Okay, it is a considered the unlawful. That is a basically different type of law. That is a federal law that is will be uh, 19 after the 1970, I hope so 1990, that is a come in and execute and implemented in United States as well as all over other countries are basically doing this kind of act. Okay. Now the next is now I'm talking about the implementing trustworthy computing. First, most important thing that after the law, uh, we need to be every organization, not they need to be implementing trustworthy computing. And what the mean of trustworthy computing? Normally, you have idea better. That's the method of computing that delivers secure, private, and reliable computing experiences that should be based on a sound business practices. That's a need of all organization on a world level. Every organization, worldwide organization, that demanding today that their system should be secure. They deliver a secure and reliable uh, services to their customer. Okay, so that the software and the hardware that are manufacturers, especially the manufacturer company that make the software and the hardware, consultant and programmer all are understand that this is the priority for their customer. Every customer need a secure software and the hardware, okay, so that the especially in a Microsoft, Apple, okay, that all manufactured consultant programmer all are understand that the priority for their customer that should be secure. For example, look there. Microsoft has pledged to deliver a trustworthy computing initiative designed to improve their trust its software products. Okay, especially in case of if we talk the Microsoft, they have a make a some basically discuss the four pillar of trustworthy computing. In the next slide, I will discuss with you guys. But here, just they are delivering the trustworthy computing initiative that should be designed improve the trustworthy software product, and they ensure the security of any system on the network is a combination of technology, policy, and the people, and require a wide range of activity to be effective. Security of any system or a network, that's the combination of technology, policy, and a people required wide range of activity to be effective. If the system is not secure, if the your network is not secure, your policies is not sure, then people will not be comfort. Okay, that will be effect on people activities. Okay, that's the improving cybersecurity research in United States that wrote that the report for the National Academy of Sciences. They wrote about that society ultimately expect computer system to be a trustworthy. Yes, sure. That is that they do what is required and expected of them despite environmental disruption, human user and operator error, and attacked by the hostile parties, and they not do other things. Thing is that every person, every computer user, every industry, normally society, they want the privacy of their data. They none of their business that the human and the other user or other hostile parties are attacking and theft their data and harmful their system, that they are relying on the trustworthy system, the manufacturer, the companies who are providing this kind of trustworthy system, they will be have a they will like, and they are basically using their product. Okay, that is the now the system requirement nowadays for every organization and business is the system requirement. They need to be a uh, every manufacturer keep to understand the priority thing is of their customer is security. Now, like I'm discussing in previous Microsoft four pillar of trustworthy computing, again, that providing the security, providing the privacy from their software and hardware, and reliability and business integrity. That is the trustworthy computing they are providing their uh, with the help of their software and hardware, all devices, but their trustworthy computer they are providing their main pillars of their product, their devices are basically related to security, privacy, reliability, and business. But as the just a look a close look on what the mean of security and how they are going to be controlled. And look there. Security, again, that's a point in which mean to say invest in expertise and technology that required to create trustworthy environment. Companies need to be especially invest the expertise and technologies that required to create trustworthy environment. They are investing more there, just not investing a make a product, but this product should be a secure. Okay, They need to be worked with the law enforcement agencies. They need to be worked with the industry expert, academia, research, and private sector to create and enforce secure computing. They need to how they can make their system, how they can make their devices more secure. They need to be engaged with the enforcement agencies, industrial expert, academic, universities, research, private sectors, many more. That will be helped to make a computing, secure computing system software. They need to be developed trust with educating consumer on secure computing. That's also the primary responsibility that how they can engage their uh, consumers, how they can educate their consumer to securing their devices. Okay, that all are issues, security issues. Now the privacy. If we talk about the privacy, plus the privacy, basically that's a make privacy a priority in a design, development, and testing of product. You know, it is a main thing if we talk about the privacy. Mean to say, to making a privacy priority that in your software designing, in your software development, your product development, and whenever you are test your product, then you will check the privacy. You can contribute the standards, IELTS standards, and policies that created by industry, organization, and government, and you need to normally provide user with sense of control over their personal information, how the user can be take a privacy, how they need to be use this product, okay, and then how he can easily control their personal information. Okay, that is the point in which from your device you can also provide the user, make a user sense, create a user sense to how they can control your product properly. Now I'm talking about the reliability. Now the build system, so that when you will able to build the system, that time you need to be uh, realize some concept that's are like they continue to provide the service in the face of internal or external disruptions. You continually provide the services that may be the face of internal and external disruption. They can be easily restored to a previously non-state with no data loss in the event of a disruptions. Then your system is reliable or not. They provide the accurate and timely services whenever needed. You need to be provide accurate and timely services whenever they needed. Required changes and upgrade do not disturb them. Whenever you need to be a change in your system, update your system, upgrade your system, that will not be disturbed to your customer. The contain minimal software bugs on release. Yes, that's important. Minimum software bug will be whenever you will be released, and the work as expect and promises. You are going to be promises with your customer that according to their expectation that should be right. Okay, that's a builder system. Whenever you are going to be able to a better system, that is at some point need to be provide continuously services in internal and external sources. Whatever the problem will become occurred, you need to be solve your customer problem easily, restore and previous non-state with the no data loss in the event of disruption. You need to be create some backup scenario in which you can easily save the data. Okay, that is the then you will be make a successful system, I guess, and it will be maybe we can consider it a reliable system if we complete this 6 points. Further, last is the business integrity, and Microsoft, especially how they can create the business integrity among their customer. We are responsible. They take the responsibility for the problem and take action to correct them. And they have potential to take a good action and to take a immediate action to correct the problem by transparent, be open in a dealing with the customer, keep motive clearly, and keep promises and make sure customer know where they stand in a dealing with the company. The business integrity, do you will be considered that your customer as a business partner, be a responsible business uh, management. You need to be take responsibility, and every time you need to be solve the problem of your customer, and you need to be give a hope to your customer that we are as a company we always give a solution of your problem. Okay, that's the business integrity. That's the four major pillar that a Microsoft make their system as a one of a major trustworthy computing system. Okay, now the next is a risk assessment. What is a risk assessment? It is again the important thing. Risk assessment. Risk assessment is a process of assessing security related risks to an organization, computers, and network from both internal and external threat. Again, basically, the risk assessment, that's just a process from which we are assessing the security related risk in our organization that is maybe the within the that may be the face from the organization in computer and network from internal and external threat both. Okay. Such threat can be prevent an organization from meeting its key business objective. Maybe that is basically creating a problem. That threat we can prevent an organization from meeting its business object, and the risk assessment is identifying which investment of time and resources will best protect the organization from its most likely and serious threat. That depend on the organization how it will be creating a which time limit and resources will be best to protect the organization from its serious threat. In context of an IT risk assessment, an asset in any hardware, software, information system, network, database that is used by the organization to achieve its business objective. Normally, the IT risk assessment, an asset is IT asset, that's a hardware, their software, their information system, network, and database. It is all are considered as the asset of a company and used to organization to achieve their business objectives. Okay. The company need to be give the importance to these kind of thing. Now, the general security risk assessment, if we talk about the general security risk assessment here, look there. First of all, we need to be identify the assets. What are the important asset of a company? Okay. And then the further, we need to be specify the loss, event, frequency of events, and normally impact of event, and option of match gears, feasibility of options, cost benefit analysis, and finally take a decision. That is general security risk assessment. Now, in the next, we will discuss each point and take some example. That is some step in generally security risk assessment process are followed. Okay. In the next slide, we are discuss identifying assets. Yes. Yes, student. That is a step generally security risk assessment process. And the first step, as we discussed, that's the identifying the set of identifying asset. In a step one, first thing is that we need to be identify the wait. Yes. In the first step, student, we need to be identify the assets. What the asset, especially like again the set of IT asset about which organization is the most concerned, which are the things that a company more concerned. Mean to say that's the priority to typically given those assets that are support the organization mission and the meeting of its primary business goals. Is it a uh, database system of a company? It is any some privacy of data of a company. It is your codes. Okay. It is your financial data, your relation with the customer, your cost benefit. What the most important asset of a company that you don't want to share anyone. That is basically uh, one of a major support of the organization mission, and it meets its primary business goal. First thing, we need to be identify set of IT assets that about which organization is the most concerned. Okay. And the second step, identify the loss event or a risk or a threat. And the second point, we need to be identify the loss event or the risk or a threat that could occur, such as distributed denial of services attack or insider fraud. For example, that is a insider fraud or maybe the denial of services attack. You know, denial of services attack may be harmful the system, may be creating a problem for your system with the attachment of your emails that basically shut down the uh, machine, that will be creating a problem for the machine and harmful for the machine unauthorized access and maybe the normal user of our devices will not be able to uh, access the device. Okay, that is a normally we are going to be some hacker are doing this. They are slow down the your devices and maybe using some internet IP addresses, they are creating a problem that the real user of um, normal real user of the devices are not be uh, in get access to the device. Okay, it create a problem. Then again, the identify the loss event or the risk or a threat that could be occur, such as the distributed the denial of services attack or an insider fraud, whatever the reason. In a step three, we need to be assess the frequency of the event. Here, identify the loss event, but here the frequency of a event or the likelihood of each potential threat. Some threats, such as the insider fraud, are more likely to be occur than other, but some threats are basically not will be occur repeatedly. But the thing again, we need to be assess the frequency of a event which threats are commonly. It may be an insider fraud and any other fraud that commonly commonly occurs, and which are the uh, fraud that will be not and the company are basically making some program to see and this kind of if they know about the uh, threat that the problem that will be oftenly the company need to be face, then the company have already a policy to solve them. Okay. In a step four, we need to be determine the impact of each threat occurring. That would the threat have a minor impact on the organization, or could it to keep the organization from carrying out its mission for a lengthy period of time. Again, and after step three, we are going to be moved on a step four. We just determine the impact of each threat. We have number of alternative impact, frequency of events which threat and events are going to be more occurly. But now we just keep in mind the which threat have a minor impact of organization and which one is the major impact on our organization mission, and how the length and how the time of period of this threat. Okay, we need just determine these thing in a point four, and further point five, six, seven, and eight. Here we are determined. Yes, class. Here we determine how each threat can be mitigated so that it can become much less likely to occur. If it does occur, has less of an impact on our organization. Here we just determine what will be the mitigations option, mean to say how we can reduce this kind of uh, problem, this kind of threat that will not be occur continuously, so that become much less likely to occur, and if does not occur has less of an impact of organization. For example, installing a virus protection on all computer that make it much less likely for the computer to contract a virus. Mean to say, no, often used to we are using for especially for our personal computer antivirus software. We are installing the antivirus. That is installing the virus protection, and on all company computer that likely for the computer contact to a virus. Due to the time and resources limitation, mostly organizations choose to focus on those threats that have a high uh, relative to all other frequency and a height. Mean to say that we are using the company phase that our computers are using the normally facing the viruses. So the company policy will become that we are using the antivirus. Okay. In other words, first thing, the most important thing is that again the addresses impact of the organization, that mean to say threat that are likely to be occur and that would highly negative impact on our organization. First, we need to be address those threat. Which kind of threat? It is a virus, it is a malware, it is a and which thing that is a basically normally which threat are come in our organization, our system that create a problem to our system. First thing is that, then we take a action. Okay. In a step six, assess the feasibility of implementing the mitigations option. Again, we need to be a mitigation option, how we can reduce these threat, and we need to be a how that will be a less painful, how it will be the less painful for the our computer, and we need to be make some feasibility, need to be some policies that will be need to be apply to reduce this kind of threat. Okay. And step seven, we need to perform cost benefit analysis to ensure that our effort our effort will be the cost effective. No amount of resources can guarantee a perfect security system, so organization must balances the risk of the security breach with the cost of preventing one. Okay. Here again the thing is that we need to be whenever we are basically solving this kind of threat, that we are facing the risk of these things, then the cost benefit analysis we need to be ensure our mission, our objective will be secure. Then how we need to be invest to secure our system. Okay. So the again the concept of reasonable insurance, uh, and maybe they recognize that manager, that's the policy of a management, they need to be judged to ensure that the cost of uh, control does not exceed the system benefit or the risk involved, but the cost are reasonable cost to preventing them. Okay. In a step eight, make the decision finally to on whether or not to implement a particular counter measurement. If you decide against implementing a particular countermeasure, you need to be reduced if the threat is truly serious and identify the less costly countermeasures. Now, the final step is that you need to be again analyze if you find a problem, it will be creating a problem. You need to make a decision whether not to be implement a particular countermeasure. If you decide against implementing a particular counter, you need to resist. You need to be again realize if the threat is truly serious. So, if so that you need to be identified less costly countermeasures. Okay. Now the generally some I just want to show some table that is related to a security risk assessment process, and some hypothetical organization that face different uh, type of I mean to say uh, problem, and how they are basically uh, thread their business objectives. Just wait. We are moving in the next slide. Look there, class. That's a risk assessment for the hypothetically company. Look here, adverse event like distributed uh, distributed denial of services attack, 24/7 operation of retail websites. Okay, that is a basically mostly business objective threat that find the retail on a website, and three per year's threat estimated frequency of a event. Normally, the company three per year, mean to say, if a company, if the single company are basically facing three time in a years, and if we talk about the vulnerability, likelihood of a damaging due to the event is a 25%, and that will be uh, damage their even their websites, their functionality 25%, and estimate cost of successful attack is a $500,000. Okay, and it will be a loss of a company, and the risk of the how they find and how they will be basically companies solve their problem, and they need to be threat vulnerability estimated cost of the 375,000 $375,000. That's the relatively priority to be a fixed at the one and maybe the two time. That's some adverse event look like an email. That's the rapid and reliable communication among the employees and suppliers, but 1,000 per year. This kind of attack, this kind of harmful worm through the email attachment, we threat are estimated 1,000 per year, and the vulnerability the -5, and the estimated cost for the attack, successful attack, the 200,000, and for their recovery, 100,000. Okay, harmful viruses, employees use the personal productivity software, that is the estimate 200,000 per year. Similarly, their estimated cost of successful attack and vulnerability. Okay, the risk factor is the 40,000. And the invoice and payment fraud, that is a reliable to cash flow, mean to say your credit card, your money transferring, that is a one per years and a 10% vulnerability. Okay, that is a risk assessment for the hypothetical company that face a different adverse event, and how they will be harmful, how they can be threat on a business objective, and how the business facing the loss, and uh, how they need to be a cost bearing some cost to just reset their system. Okay. Now, we will discuss about the establishing security policy in next session. And for first video, I'm going to say Allah Hafiz.